what's up you guys, how's it going? It's Papa, and today I'm going to be showing you guys like a fun little deck that I've been working on lately, and that is Libromancer. So I have been looking at a lot of different decks online, and I saw a lot of success with it with other people, so I thought I'd go ahead and give it a shot. I mean, it looks like a lot of fun to play, and it really has been a lot of fun to play. So I'm going to be showing you guys like the variant that I've been playing. It's kind of a mixture of both Pax list and Milano's list. And then I've just been looking at other strategies too, but those builds are more on a ritual heavy base. I liked MBT's list. I liked Joshua Smith's list as well, but I opted to go with more of the synchro heavy, like more synchro heavy variant, I should say. I went more for that style because I just think it's more my speed, and then also not only that, but I think it just has a better end board than as opposed to just playing like a pure ritual type of Libromancer. Like the Libromancer cards are actually really broken. The problem is that a lot of them suck. So Libromancer is really just missing a lot of like pieces for their own archetype to be really good. But until we get those kind of pieces, we're just going to be playing this route. But yeah, guys, I really do like this list that I've been playing, and I'm thinking about taking it to locals. If you guys want to see me take it to locals, let me know in the comment section down below. We play 3 copies of Libromancer Fire. What it does is you reveal a ritual, and then you can add a Libromancer monster from your deck to the hand. So most of the time you're getting the ritual off of this. I mean, if you're not getting the ritual, then you're probably getting Geek Boy, which I do play 2 of. So I don't really see the need to play 3. You have E-Telly in the deck, which summons this, and it also triggers its effect. What it does is that when it's special summoned, it gets to add a Libromancer spell from your deck, but we only play 1, so you basically just get the field spell with this. Really broken, but it is mainly here to summon off of E-Telly. 1 agent, what it does is when it is special summon, like they all have the effect to where you can reveal a ritual card to summon them, but when this one's summoned, you get to add a Libromancer card from the graveyard back to your hand, and then if it's a spell or trap, then you place 1 card from your hand to the bottom of the deck. So that one doesn't really come up too much. If anything, you're just doing it to add back one of the monsters to have follow-up for the next turn. We do play 1 Doombroker. If for some reason this gets into the grave, that's what the agent is here for. You can just get this back as well. But this card's broken. It's probably the only good ritual monster that this deck has right now, because what it does is it sets a Libromancer trap from the deck to the field, so it can't be hit by Ash Blossom, which is really good. Just these for the Libromancers, I think you just need the 7 names because there's so much engine that gets you to all of them, so you don't really need to max out on too many of them. For support, I play 2 copies of Illusion of Chaos and 1 Magician Souls. I don't really see... I see why people play 3 and 2, I really do, but if anything, I would want to play 3 Illusion just to get the 1 Souls, because there are times where you don't open up a ritual in this deck. Even when you're playing Preparation of Rites, there are times where you're just not going to be able to see a ritual, so that kind of sucks. I mainly play the 2 also because I only play the 1 Souls. I don't really see the need to play multiple Souls. If anything, again, you would just max out on 3 Illusion, but it really just depends, because you reveal this to summon this, and then you're using this to make your Doombroker most of the time. So by the time that happens, you really don't need any more follow-up, because with the board you're making turn 1, odds are your opponent's going to lose game 1 because it's just really indestructible. For a certain engine, I know people are probably going to turn away from the video. We play 3 copies of Enchantress, and then 1 Griffin Rider. I'm playing the full Brave engine, shouldn't come as a surprise. But these cards are really good. They just facilitate that your combo goes off. You just start off with the Enchantress, of course, and if you don't start off with the Enchantress, you have a way to get to the Enchantress in the extra deck, but we'll get more into that later. So you definitely need to play these. These cards are really busted, and they just help you go off, so why wouldn't you? For just some support cards, 1 Fairy Tale Snow, 1 Rocks Rose Dragon, 1 Red Rose Dragon, and then a Jet Synchron, and everyone's favorite, Artifact Scythe. So you don't have to play Scythe, you really don't. If you want to see a build that doesn't contain Artifact Scythe, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll get around to it. But I'm playing the Scythe build because, again, it is just a more suboptimal way to play this deck. If you want better results, you're going to have to Scythe lock your opponent. But again, it's a really cool deck. Don't let these cards take away from anything, because you're still making really broken plays, and yeah, that's really it. The other cool thing about this deck is that you can play a lot of hand traps. So you don't have to play 50 cards. I'm just playing 50 cards because I am playing a lot of hand traps. I do play 3 copies of Valor, 3 copies of Ash. If anyone has English, please swap me. have Secret First, but if you have Secret First English, please swap me. 3 copies of Ghost Mourner, and then 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, and 1 copy of Cerevis. The reason behind this lineup is because all of these, like these 9 up here, they get you to your synchro plays turn 1, and it works well when you open up duplicate hand traps. Mourner is probably not as good as Ogre that I've seen so far during testing. Right now I'm still like opting to play the 3 Moonlit, mainly because you can use this to make your Riser Dragon. Same thing you could do with Ogre as well, and then you could summon the Ogre off of E-Telly as well. But Mourner has had its instances where it is good. It's a lot better in time, and sometimes you just need it. But these 9 hand traps up here are very like self-explanatory. I think like they're the most broken ones in the format right now. Valor is insane. Ashe has just always been good. Imperm, you don't really have to play. You could play Nibiru, but I don't like playing Nibiru, so I just opted to play 3 Imperm. Nibiru is only good if you're not ending on like your big board, so you're basically just drawing into Nibiru to like maybe make your like turn 3 better. But I don't like the awkwardness of that, and like when you're in mid combo and you draw Nibiru off of your souls, it just feels kind of awkward because you don't really want to get rid of your board off of the Nibiru just because your opponent might come back and win. I don't know. I just thought playing these hand traps was just better. Cerevis is actually really busted because you can search this off of Prep of Rights, and then if you need to, you can tribute this to summon out your Doombreaker. But what it does, for people that don't know, is that Cerevis is basically kind of like a reverse Imperm, to where like if one of your guys gets targeted, you can chain this, and then you discard it from your hand, and then you negate the activation and not destroy it. I think it just negates the activation. But basically, it makes it to where if you were getting Imperm, Valored, Ghost Mournered, whatever the situation is that's getting your card targeted, you just chain this and then it negates it. So really good. And it's also just a ritual that you can use to trigger your Libromancer cards. That's it for the monster lineup. Moving on to the spells. It's very, very simple. We play 3 Prep of Rights, 3 First Appearance. This card is actually insane. One of the best cards in the deck. Meanwhile, I just don't want to see it all the time because I want to search it, but I always do end up seeing it because it's a hard once per turn. So basically, it's like your Union Hanger. If you don't see it, it kind of sucks, but also if you see too many, you can't activate another one, so it's kind of bad. What it does is when it's activated, you get to add a Libromancer card from your deck to your hand with a different name than the ones that you currently control. That actually comes up because you're playing such little names. During your main phase, you can ritual summon 1 Libromancer ritual monster from your hand by tributing cards that exceeds the level, which is really busted when you're doing ritual summoning. So basically, this is the only ritual spell the archetype has, and it's the field spell. So with Prep of Rights, you can't just search the Doombreaker and then add back the First Appearance because it is a field spell, not a ritual spell, but it has the ritual effect, so it does matter. Complementing that, we play 3 copies of E-Telly, the Geek Boys Psychic. Again, if you want to play Ogre, you can. I just don't. You can summon out the Ogre that way as well. For the Brave package, we play the 3 Rights, 1 Fateful, and then the 1 Draco Bag, and then the Foolish to complement it, because all of these cards just say Enchantress. Granted, the Draco Bag and the Fateful being the worst ones to draw, but you have to play them, unfortunately. Foolish just gets you whatever you need. So you're mainly sending Enchantress off of this, but you can send Jet, you can send Snow. Just depends on your situation. 1 Call by the Grave, because again, you just want your plays to go off uninterrupted. Basil Rose Shoot. You just search it off of the Rocks Rose. And then finally, we play the Libromancer Intervention, because what it does is when your opponent activates a card or effect, you target a Libromancer or ritual monster you control and return to the hand and negate the activated effect. And then you can special summon a Libromancer monster from your hand or graveyard. So this card's insane because it basically negates droplets, it negates Dark Ruler, and then you get to bounce back your Doombreaker to set up for the next turn. And then, that wasn't it. You set up your Libromancer for the next turn, and then you get to summon 1 out and then resolve that effect. So it's a really broken card. Sometimes I want to play 2, but I never want to like open this card. I always want to set it off a Doombreaker. But that's going to be the main deck. It is 50 cards in the main deck, and it's pretty solid, not gonna lie. I mean, you could play 45 if you want, and you could play like less hand traps. You could play 44 or 43. It's really hard to get this deck to an even 40 because then you have to take into consideration side deck patterns, cards you're gonna take out, cards you're gonna put in. So I opted to just play 50 because it was just more simpler that way. For the extra deck, my 2 tokens, we play the Herald of Arclight. This is like always the hard part of this deck I've learned to find out, is that the extra deck, it's really hard to like come to an agreement to. Like I have changed so many cards in this extra deck ever since I put this deck together, and I still don't really know like which one I really want to like be more satisfied with. But this is just what I have for right now. This is what I've been testing, and it's been successful ever since. So 1 Herald, 1 Wonder Magician, Desert Locust. This card is really cracked, actually. It makes it to where, like, if you set up a Baron turn 1 and you have your Hulk on the field, you don't need to use the Wonder Magician. You could just Desert Locust your opponent. Or if you're playing against, like, a trap deck where Scythe doesn't matter, you can just leave the Hulk on the board, summon Desert Locust, get rid of a card in their hand, and then you could Synchro that way, or you could just leave it on the field to use for the next turn. But Desert Locust is really, really tight. I really like this card a lot. It also makes it to where, like, if you do have it on the field and you summon out the snow, you can Synchro 10 for your Baron to floor. So that's like a really cool way to summon Baron as well. But it really just depends on your situation. And then 1 Riser Dragon. This card should realistically be banned. I do agree that, like, maybe it was best to put this card at 1 because this could come up in the grind game if you do have multiples. But I realistically think the card should be banned. But that's it for the synchros. Links. So this is where it gets like a little bit weird. This is where I kind of got like weird with the extra deck. But I listened to Milano's reasoning and I did like it a lot because it does help you in bad situations. You do play 1 Lingeribo, 1 Landfornicus, and then we play Heat Soul. Basically what this does is that if you don't open up the synchros, if you don't open up like a tuner, which is really hard to do, you basically make your Landfornicus turn 1 and then you link off the Landfornicus with the Fire to make Heat Soul. Heat Soul draws you a card on your turn, so you're probably drawing a hand trap, and then during your opponent's turn with this still out, you draw another card, draw probably another hand trap. So realistically, you could be drawing 2 hand traps, and then if you want, if it's say like game 2 or game 3 and you're doing that, you activate the Heat Soul, tribute it off, and then you summon the Lingeribo to play around evenly matched. So it's a really small iterations like that, like just niche circumstances, but it's a really cool idea, and I really like the reasoning behind it. But it depends on your playstyle. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to, but just know it's a really cool route to take. Then, of course, we do play Halka broken card. I would play 2 if there was 2 available to play, but definitely play it while it's a 1. Dagda, shouldn't really say too much. Like, this card is known for just setting Scythe. Cherubini. So this is what I was talking about earlier when you could send Enchantress like mid-combo, because what you do is with the Fire and the Halka Fibrax. So Halka Fibrax will basically summon out the Red Rose, and then you use the Red Rose and the Libromancer Fire to make your what's it called? Your Riser Dragon. So with the Riser Dragon out, you send the Enchantress, and then the Riser becomes, or no, you don't send Enchantress. You send, what's it called? Fairy Tale Snow. So this becomes level 3, and then you get the Red Rose effect to summon out the Rox Rose, and then you use the Rox Rose and the Riser Dragon to make Cherubini, and then Cherubini will send you your Enchantress to get your Brave combo going. So it's a really cool interaction, and it's a really cool combo. I think it was Pac that was describing it when I was watching the video, but it's really cool, and it does come up a lot. You'd be very, very shocked by how much it comes up, but it's really good. I'm really glad I play them. They definitely have their usages. 1 Selene, because you can just use this. It's very easy going second to make Selene access and just kill your opponent from there. So have to play it. Unicorn. I don't really feel comfortable not playing Unicorn. It was either this or play the Croc Dragon, the level 9 Synchro. So basically, like, Synchro during your opponent's turn, you draw another card, and then you can discard a card, target a card, destroy it, something like that. But I just opted for Unicorn because it's better for going second. And then we play Access Code Talker because why not? You kind of have to. And then depending on the board that you can make turn 1, you can make an Apollosa. I don't always make the Apollosa because sometimes I do get interrupted, but it is just like an extra like form of negation that you can make. But yeah, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it for the deck profile. Again, this deck is really a lot of fun to play, and I do have a great time playing it. I've been playing it with friends mainly, but I do eventually want to be able to take this to my locals. And when I do, that's when you'll probably get like a tournament report of it, if anything. But again, I actually have to do well to do a tournament report. But so far the deck has been really nice. It's been performing quite well. It has led to some really bad bricks, but that's just any deck that you play. The consistency is there, and it definitely shows. If worst comes to worst, if you draw too many hand traps, you have interruption for your opponent's turn. It does come up. It happens. That's Yu-Gi-Oh! Sometimes. Like, not every hand is going to go your way, but that's what happens when you play a card game like this. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. I think, like, after the format's over, I want to, like, really, like, take this deck a little bit more seriously, because we're probably going to be losing a lot of these cards. We might get the Brave Engine hit. We might lose, like, some of the synchros, like maybe Jet, maybe Red Rose will get banned. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? But until next time, guys, this has been Papa, and I will catch you all in my next video. Take care, everyone.